My spiritual thoughts. 2 Corinthians 4, verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. Ephesians 6, verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. I would like to start by saying, there are people who say they are Eastern Stars and they don't do this or that. People who say their grandfather was a Mason or grandmother was an Eastern Star and they don't do that. Okay, well maybe you, your family members, or whomever you know don't do these things. Though it makes me think some people are members to make the fraternities seem pure, just dinners, dances, and fundraisers. They are members but weren't selected. They are part of the fraternity but not chosen. So of course they wouldn't or you wouldn't know about it. Then again, it's not called a secret society for nothing. They understand the assignment and never told anyone. Today, my focus is on Tammi Terrell, Masonic sacrifice. Thomasina Winifred Montgomery, professionally known as Tammi Terrell, was an American singer, songwriter, widely known as a singer for Motown during the 1960s, notably for duets with Marvin Gaye. When I found out Tammy's father was a Mason and the hardships she faced in life, it all made sense. I'm the child of an Eastern Star, and my life has been very hard. Every time I think about Matthew 10, verse 36, a man's enemies will be those of his own household, I cringe, because how true is that? It will be the people around you who will do you the most harm. Painful. So I had to do further research, which landed me in the library reading My Sister Tammi, The Real Tammi Terrell, by her one and only sister, Ludi Montgomery and Vicky Wright. In Ludi's book, My Sister Tammi, it reads, Daddy once told me that his family was so poor when he was growing up. So now he's an adult, saved his money, put himself through college. He did not want to work on a farm, so he came to Philadelphia. Hypothetically speaking, Thomas Montgomery might have shared his life's details with someone, noting that he never wants to experience being poor ever again and wants success and always have money. So the individual suggested being a part of the Masonic Lodge, and if he joined, he could have all the success and money he wanted. Only thing, that would have to come at a cost. Most likely feeling a deep guilt that lasted all of 5 seconds and succumbed to sacrificing his firstborn. Thomasina Winifred Montgomery, for all who knew Tammi Terrell's story, it's a heartbreaking one. Tragic, and here's where it all began. Whatever deity that person, which is Thomas Montgomery, is serving, they are going to visit that child. This evil spirit is going to control the destiny of this child. And My Sister Tammi, it reads, we all ate dinner and Daddy insisted that Tammi and I go to bed early. So we did. Then I looked up and couldn't believe what I saw. I screamed and called for Mommy as loud as I could. Mommy ran to our door and she saw it too. She screamed, Tom, hurry. The mother explained to the father what had happened because when he came, he turned on the light and what they seen disappeared. The mother said, Tom, there was a woman in a white gown sitting in a chair over Tammi, a very tall woman sitting in a chair on the bed right over her. Tammi was asleep and she did not witness any of this. I believe now that was an angel watching over Tammi and perhaps our whole family, and especially my mother at the time. I know this was an angel watching over them. It seems to me that the father already knew what was going to happen, being that he insisted that they go to bed early. When the mother explained what they saw, he didn't even have a reaction. He said nothing. It's sad Ludi thought it was an angel, not knowing it has to do with the secret society her father's involved in. If Thomas Montgomery was taking his daughter everywhere with him, my guess is to ceremonies, practicing rituals on her, using her hair, nails, and photo, putting it on an altar, and possibly taking her near rivers and lakes to offer her. Being that she was young, she may not remember the events or just told to keep it a secret with the promise of a doll or some candy, or just erase her memory through magic. At the age of 11, Tammi had been brutally beaten up and sexually assaulted by 3 older boys. In the unsung documentary, Ludi said, things were more or less swept under the rug. Yes, because what happened to Tammi was orchestrated. Mr. Montgomery already knew this was going to happen to Tammi. As a matter of fact, it was supposed to happen, and there was nothing else to say about it, as far as he was concerned. I'm thinking something tragic is supposed to happen to the person, possibly so spirits can enter. If anything, I know a spirit spouse has, because sexual assault is an entry point, and it's a spirit that caused chaos in your life. It's a jealous spirit. Research spirit spouse. Something that also caught my attention were comments made about Tammi. In the unsung documentary, her cousin Grace said she responded like a much older person. DJ Jerry Blavitt said, this kid sounds like she's 21 years old talking about love and breakups. In Ludi's book, Jean Chandler adds, the experiences she was having were that of someone who was much older. And my sister Tammi, Ludi states, Tammi was advanced beyond her years. George Cloverdale, a neighborhood friend, expressed, Tammi had become a beautiful young lady and carried herself in a very mature way with a lot of class. She was far beyond the others in our group of friends. She was advanced beyond us. And also, by the time Tammi was 12, she had the figure of a woman. I'm thinking from the comments to her physical development, the spirit of a woman was transferred to her. This is all after the sexual assault. Not only was she acting older, but even her body transformed into that of a woman. Most likely, Tammi was experiencing a lot of things, not knowing it was tied to the witchcraft that was being worked on her. From sleep paralysis to having all kind of dreams, being chased, her hair being cut, flying like a bird, feeling choked upon awakening, her former school, deceased people, dirty murky water, and snakes, signing documents, also eating and having sex in the dreams. In your dream, you are renewing covenants. It may continue cycles of poverty, stagnation. In Tammi's case, it would be a continued cycle of sickness. In that instance, upon awakening, you would have to pray, nullify, renounce, and rebuke the dream and go on a fast to stop it from manifesting, or to, it may manifest, but it will gradually disappear. Sadly enough, she didn't know about this, and what was happening to her was spiritual. Proverbs 11 verse 9, through knowledge shall the just be delivered. These are things that should be taught in church, because who would know about it, really? Also, there is mind blockers, so you can't remember your dreams. That's so you can't pray against it. Pray against it anyway. Sometimes you may find that when you wake up, for example, if you dreamt you were bit on your arm, that very site will be sore. She could have possibly heard footsteps when no one was around, heard her name being called, experienced forgetfulness, feeling of sharp pains on her body, scratches and or bruises appearing on her skin out of nowhere, rashes too, black faint spots in her vision. Even if your home is clean, you might have a roach infestation. You call the exterminator and still no change. You can experience heavy fatigue. The list is long, but a lot of unusual things. I'm thinking about how Tammi had to ask Gene Chandler for help. You know, he's witnessing this man just attacking her, and he wants to stay out of it. Even though eventually he called her family, and her mother came when, she asked. At no time did he want to say enough is enough. You seeing this attack on a female, a young female at that, and what happened to Gertie? She was like a chaperone that traveled with James Brown. It was because of her Tammi was allowed to go. They trusted her. She betrayed them. No compassion whatsoever. Not even thinking, hey, this could be my sister or daughter. Not really sure how old she was. But regardless, another human being that needed help. And no one intervened. It all seems so strange how these men, David Ruffin and especially James Brown, because he would beat on Tammi in public, fighting her like a man, breaking her teeth out, blackening her eyes, leaving her bloody. But these spirits were doing their job, operating like the police, only invisible, surrounding Tammi, making sure no one helped. No, don't you dare. You better not think about it. You see how that works? Controlling others' actions, influencing them not to do anything, to never think twice about stopping anyone from harming her. We are surrounded by spirits all day, every day, and they all have a job to do. Tammi had spirits that were on an assignment connected with the covenant her father made. So in all reality, Motown wasn't to blame. In Ludi's book, it reads, I would have to say, my father was emotionally unavailable to us most of the time. My father was not family-oriented with his emotions. He really wasn't. He loved his family very much, but he had other interests that seemed to always be his priority. When you look at it, how could he really connect with his family? They're loving and innocent, and he cursed them for success and money. In the book, she often spoke about how he wasn't around a lot. Can he really be around them knowing their fate? The father couldn't care for them if he's partaking in this evil. And my sister Tammi, Ludi states, he was downtrodden and sullen when it conceded to Tommy's wishes. He gave my sister no blessing, no farewell, nothing when she moved to Detroit. Of course, because Thomas Montgomery knew it was a matter of time. He got what he wanted. Daddy was involved in so many things, from politics to the barbershop he owned, in addition to being a ward leader of 2 wards in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the 14th and 20th Ward. He was employed by the Traffic Court of Philadelphia for many years. It also made me think, the more you want, the more the sacrifice individual has to suffer. Tammi really suffered. Luke 8, verse 17. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad. Life is spiritual. Thanks for watching.